We woke up bright and early to find ourselves docked at Castaway Cay. It was just a beautiful day with a stunning view where we were later told that it was their first best day of the cruising season at Castaway Cay. And we see the early birds already heading out for their day of fun and the sun. Castaway Cay, formerly known as Gorda Cay, is Disney's private island. It was leased from the Bahamian government for 99 years. A very abbreviated version of the lore that Disney created to explain Castaway Cay is that three explorers set sail to the scattered islands of the Bahamas in search of fame and fortune. They brought along their families and a diverse crew. Visitors to this island can still see the original structures built by the explorers and take part in many of the same pleasures our castaways enjoyed years ago. I truly wonder who the three explorers were. Are there clues on the island? If you know, let me know in the comments. We got up a bit later than usual, so we missed breakfast at Cabanas with the rest of my family. Since we're not normally the breakfast types, it was fine. We just skipped it so we could disembark Castaway Cay as early as we were able to. Besides, we knew that there would be a nice barbecue lunch waiting for us in the afternoon, so keep watching to see how high I piled onto my plate. Upon leaving the Disney Dream, the staff handed out towels so we could use at the beach, so there was no need to bring any towels from the ship. So the beaches were about a 5 to 10 minute walk away, and under normal circumstances, I would have liked to have walked. But as some family members have mobility issues, we decided to go together on the tram instead. Some of these people were vicious, since there weren't really any queues. It was kind of like a mob when the trams arrived. We decided to stay at the second stop, which was called the Castaway Family Beach, and we got situated next to the Sandbar, a little beverage bar. Also nearby was the Pelican Plunge, which has 2 water slides that drop you right into the lagoon. At Castaway Cay, there are activities you could book like parasailing, skiing, banana boat rides, or glass bottom boat tours. Or you could also rent kayaks, aquatrikes, snorkeling equipment, paddle boards, tubes, or bikes. There's also a 5K that one can run in order to earn a medal. But I decided to go all out beach bum and do none of those things. Since this was my very first visit to Castaway Cay, I wanted to soak in the sun and enjoy the beach with my family rather than worrying about rentals and activities. I am hoping that there will be another Disney cruise in my future, so I will do the rentals and activities next time. Especially that 5K, I really want that medal. But for now, we will chill for the first go around. After playing around on the beach with my nephews for a bit, Adam and I ditched the family and went to Serenity Bay for lunch since I heard that the barbecue there was better than the offerings at Cookies and Cookies too. Serenity Bay is adults only for guests that are 18 years or older. It truly was serene and low-key, which is easy to do when you don't allow children who are often screaming for some reason. Screaming's fine though. It's a Disney cruise after all. But for those adults who want to get away from all that noise and to find beach lounges without any trouble, Serenity Bay is the place to go. We grabbed a frosty pina colada at the Castaway bar while waiting for the barbecue to open up. The offerings were your usual barbecue side dish fare with various cold salads like the pasta salad, coleslaw, potato salad, and the corn salad, which is the salad I enjoyed the most. Then there's also a bunch of grilled meats that you could choose from, and the wait staff was there to serve you. After the meal, you could have some fresh fruit from the salad bar for dessert. Or in my case, I got my 100th soft serve ice cream. I mean, I really didn't eat 100 ice creams, but it sure felt like it. So Adam, who is pescatarian if you haven't guessed it by now. Pescatarian is someone who has a vegetarian diet, but can also eat fish or seafood as well. So for lunch, he opted to go for the grilled salmon since that was just about all he could eat besides the fake meat options. He doesn't really like cold food, so no salad for him. I guess the pickles count as salad? He didn't enjoy the salmon as much since it was on the dry side, but he did grab some fruit for dessert. Don't feel too bad for him though, because he had his best and most favorite meal during dinner tonight, so keep watching if you want to know what it is. I mean, it's fish because he's pescatarian, but in case you want to know. As for me, I sure enjoyed my plate of food. I kinda got a bit of everything. Remember, calories don't count on vacation, and I'm eating for two stomachs. For the sides, I got the corn salad, a bit of pasta salad, some tomatoes because I love tomatoes, and half a corn on the cob. For the protein, I got a cut of ribeye steak, some St. Louis barbecue pork spare ribs, some Cajun spiced rotisserie chicken, and a sliced smoky barbecue beef brisket, which is the thing you see with the burger buns. The ribeye steak was just kind of mid. It was also more well done than I would have liked, even though I ordered it as medium doneness. The rotisserie chicken was indeed spiced and tasty, and I think this was also the first kind of poultry that I had on the cruise, so it was actually a nice change of pace. The barbecue beef brisket in the burger buns was good, but it was overpowered by the barbecue sauce as I wanted to taste more of the beef. The real winner of this meal was the spare ribs. If I could do it over, I would probably skip everything else and just go for the ribs. I think the ribeye steak and the sliced smoked barbecue beef brisket were the extra offerings in Serenity Bay. That's different from cookies and cookies too, but I don't find it worth it to go to Serenity Bay just for that alone. However, I still think it's worth it if you and your party are 18 years and older and want to get away from the hustle and bustle of the family beaches. After lunch, we headed back to the family beach to meet back up with my family. As we were waiting for them, we browsed by the seashore to see what they had to offer. There were Castaway Cay t-shirts, jerseys, even bathing suits and swim trunks if you forgot to pack them. There's Hawaiian shirts, sunglasses, toys, dresses, among other souvenirs. There's even sunscreen and goggles if you need them as well. By 2 p.m. we were ready to go back to the ship, so on the tram we went. Here we said goodbye to the post office, the Castaway Cay postmark. You could send actual postcards here, by the way, you just need some postage. We probably went back to the ship earlier than most people because the crowds were still pretty sparse at that time. So I thought it would be a great time to ride the aqueduct again because most of the other guests were still on Castaway Cay and there wasn't much of a line, like for real this time. But literally as I was just about to enter the stairs to line up, they closed down the ride to check on something. Just my luck. They said it would be back in 10 minutes. I waited for 20 and then I gave up. And instead, we hung out at the Coke bar again and enjoyed the views with some unexpected honking music as we were sailing away from Castaway Cay. After we got ourselves cleaned up from the beach and while we were waiting for dinner time, we played a little bit of the Midship Detective Agency.
I wonder if there's something in there that could help us. Move your magnifying glass around and let's take a closer look.
You start the game located at one of these kiosks. They're located on Deck 5 by the atrium that's heading towards the nursery, or Deck 2 in the gallery near the Enchanted Garden restaurant. The Midship Detective Agency is a self-guided interactive game where you are helping Mickey, Donald, and Goofy solve different cases. There are 3 cases in total that you get to pick from. With each case, you are sent through the ship to gather clues and solve it. And if you're wondering, the Midship Detective Agency is free to play and you can play it as many times as you like. Though I should note that this is only available on the Disney Dream and the Disney Fantasy as of 2024. I really like the concept because it makes you explore the ship, which helps you get familiar with it. But more importantly, I love watching my nephews get excited playing with it. And before we knew it, it was 5:45 and we headed out to our last dinner on the Disney Dream in the Enchanted Garden. The restaurant itself is much like the Royal Palace in that it's beautifully decorated and nicely themed, but it's not interactive like the Animator's Palette is, unless you count the lights changing a bit to be interactive, maybe. The Enchanted Garden is inspired by the gardens of Versailles, like an elegant conservatory amid the foothills in France. I think it gives a nod to the Beauty and the Beast here, since it's French-inspired, but I found it a bit boring to have the Royal Palace be French cuisine-inspired and then the Enchanted Garden theme be inspired by France. Come on, Disney, there are other countries in the world. For our appetizers, both Adam and I ordered the ahi tuna and avocado tower, and we both loved it. The crispy noodles gave it the extra crunchy texture, and the wasabi dressing gave it that touch of heat that helps make the taste of the tuna shine. Additionally, I also got the cucumber garden roll, which I thought was a good light appetizer to help cleanse the palate. It was refreshing, stuffed with an assortment of vegetables and dressed with a bit of soy sauce and lemon. For a super appetizer, we ordered off the vegetarian offerings the glazed portobello mushrooms and the pearl barley cakes. The mushroom dish was paired with a parsley sauce that was creamy and savory. It had a bit of tomato garnish to give it a little twang. And the lentils helped to give it a bit of heartiness to the dish, so we recommend it. Unfortunately, the pearl barley cakes was just meh. It was kind of tasteless. It's the one to skip. For entrees, Adam got the pan-seared sea bass and absolutely loved it. It came with a side of fava beans and risotto that kicked the creaminess level of the fish sky high. It was described as buttery and melt in your mouth. My dad and brother-in-law saw how much Adam enjoyed it and they ended up getting an order of their own. As for me, I ordered the slow roasted prime rib, cooked to medium perfection. If I'm being honest, it tasted like the roast privateer strip loin from Pirate Night, and it was even dressed like the sliced roasted beef sirloin from the welcome lunch, so it wasn't all that special to me at this point. Even though I love steak, I don't normally eat it often at home since it's not something Adam can eat because he's pescatarian, and I don't want to be cooking up 2 different meals every time. Not to mention, it's kind of expensive to have too often. So I really beefed it up during the cruise, and I admit, I got a bit bored of it by the end. So lesson learned, I'll try to diversify my food picks for the next cruise. For dessert, Adam got his usual cappuccino and I ordered the lemon raspberry mousse bomb. Once again, this is from the no sugar added section. It was definitely more tart than sweet, and I did enjoy it, but I let my mom finish it. She couldn't get enough of it. It's a big thumbs up for anyone who likes tartness. After dinner, it was back to the stateroom to rest a bit before the last show. For our towelly guest, it was a bit anticlimactic as we were greeted by our last towel animal, a mouse. Or a rat. I don't know. It was a little sad thing, but it was also kind of funny. But speaking of sad, we got our 1 luggage tag that we asked for debarkation. If you were wondering what they're for, it's so you could have your luggage delivered to the cruise terminal to be picked up there after you disembark the ship. This is so you don't have to take your luggage with you if you decide to go to the debarkation breakfast. For the luggage tags, you write your stateroom number, your name, your address, and the number of bags on the tags and attach them to your luggage. When you pick them up, they'll be in color-coded zones, which is basically the color of your luggage tag. You would need to have the luggage by the door outside your stateroom by 10 p.m. for them to provide this service. So we did some last minute packing and put our luggage out. Then we went off to the Walt Disney Theater for the very last time to see Disney's Believe. The show is about a workaholic father who reconnects with his daughter with a little Disney magic. There was a lot of singing and dancing in this show as they went through the classics. So if you like variety type shows, this one's for you. After the show, we waited for 45 minutes at what I thought was a really good spot for the See You Real Soon show thing.
She is as beautiful as a rose. Good evening, Val. And of course, straight from the bayou joining us, it's Princess Tiana. And now, he's a favorite party animal. Give it up for Pluto, everyone! He's been goofing around with us all cruise long. Say hi to Goofy. Now, she loves fashion, she has impeccable style, and she is Disney Dream's very own diva. And of course, we have the #1 guy on the high seas, Donald Duck. And now, the entire Disney Dream goes nuts for Daniel. And of course, a couple that needs no introduction, but they're gonna get one anyway. And I
I'm not sure if it's supposed to be this short. Let me know in the comments if I'm missing anything. They did announce that the characters would be around for 15 minutes so that you could get their signatures or pictures or whatever, but by that time I was pooped. So we went back to our cabin to catch some Z's so we could get up bright and early for our debarkation breakfast. On debarkation day, we rolled out of bed, got into our change of clothes, said goodbye to the stateroom, said goodbye to our sad, undecorated door, and headed over to the Enchanted Garden for our last onboard meal. Sorry, there's no breakfast video because there were some meltdowns at the table and we were all just still half asleep. It was just your usual breakfast fare, so I don't think too much was missed. Since our flight wasn't until 4 hours later, we took our time leaving the ship. We checked out the photos taken of us at the shutters area. I didn't buy any, none of them were particularly good. And then we loitered around the Vista Cafe on deck 4 for a bit, like an extra hour or two, before we were very politely asked to leave. Now it's the reverse order of day 1. Down the escalators to pick up our luggage and saying goodbye to Carl here. And with that, it ends our Disney cruise as we have to go back to reality. Will I be back on another Disney cruise? We're already planning on booking a longer one for 2025. This cruise was the reason why I started this channel, Winsome Adventures. And I'm so glad I did. While I was editing and for every watch of all the videos, I get to relive the magic of having such a fun and memorable vacation with my family every time, at least until we are on board another Disney cruise.